All right, guys, I'm excited. New patch just dropped. Let's break down all the new things that they've added in the game, what to shoot for, what freebies we can target that are actually worth going for. And before we get in this video, if we can get a like on this video, that'd be awesome. Also, subscribe to the channel for more Guardian Tales content. Also, I do want to thank the Patreon members. We are up to 3 Patreons. I think that is fantastic. Thank you guys so much for the additional support there. So here they are. Here's the list of the 3 Patreons. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video here. First thing I do want to talk about, though, is the 2,700 gems that you could get for free just for signing in. There's one that was 2,000 gems. They did a promotion where it's 20,000 Twitter subscribers or something like that. After maintenance, there was 700 gems just for signing in. So free 10 pull right off the bat. Really good way to kick this patch off, in my opinion. I think it's really generous of them to add that. Not many games are so consistently good at giving us freebies. I really appreciate the devs with that. It's nice to play a game where it's actually a really positive experience on that front. It's not a whole bunch of just questioning the devs on really anti-consumer decisions, and it makes it a lot more of a positive experience. Erina, she just came through the game. I was really stoked on this character coming through. If you guys have been following the channel, the last few heroes I have gone for have taken 50,000 gems. One of them to pull finally in Eleanor, and then the other one took 50,000 gems that I still didn't even pull her. I was like, okay, I'm just overdoing this, and use mileage to not only get her character, but then the weapon too. So I just totally ate it that last time, whereas I got lucky this time, finally came through. I had about 4,000 gems, and first pulled her, which was fantastic. Then I just immediately mileaged her weapon because I didn't want to bother. Kind of my quick thoughts on the character, though. I think she's like decent, but absolutely incredible for Erina. I thought she was going to be more used in Coliseum. I don't really see her there at all. She's kind of like a big stat shield, kind of like Ogma is what I was thinking, but she doesn't have a ton. So maybe that's lowering her representation down in the Coliseum. But been using her in campaign, and then I think she's going to be pretty useful in Orbital Lift and in Camazone. So I still think she's an amazing character, totally worth pulling for. And then another thing too that I wish they would do more often is her exclusive weapon is not mandatory. I think she's actually a really good budget character, because if you look at her exclusive weapon, it just increases her damage. And this character, her base stats are very similar to Future Princess, which is not really known for doing a ton of damage. Yes, she actually hits decently hard. I just don't want mechanics of the character getting gated by an EX weapon, which is totally expected to happen. That's how they make their money. So being able to have good characters that don't have their EX gate specific mechanics is great. And I want them to do this more often. Bad examples of characters in my design, in my opinion, is something like Lilith, where you absolutely need her EX. She's an absolutely incredible character, but so much of her kit is gated by this specific effect here, which is activates a protection effect which reduces damage taken by 20%, and then reduces skill regen time of Darkness Spike to 5 seconds, and defense reduction of enemies increases to 20%. So many parts of her kit are gated by you needing her EX weapon, which is just a bummer in my opinion. Still an amazing character. It's just frustrating design, and characters like that I can totally see happening. I just want this to be something that's few and far between, where there's a good character but so much of it's behind this kind of additional paywall. But then we get other versions of this, and I would like this to be, you know, on good characters. You know, they throw us a bone here like, oh yeah, this character doesn't need an EX, but then the character sucks. It doesn't really count in my opinion. So this character is actually good, and the EX is, you know, the most optional EX of a good character I've seen in quite a while. I'll leave it at that, you know, because, you know, it's still good. You're still gonna want the EX weapon. She does decent damage for how tanky she is. She requires a lot of stats to be useful in my opinion, but I've been liking her, especially in the arena environment. But in the campaign environment, it's okay. And then I can see her being kind of the Ogma filler if you're looking for someone that combats against light characters in those automated matchups like Orbital Lift and Camazone. So good character. Definitely worth pulling for. And then also we have the return of Beach Sohi, which is a character I think a lot of people missed out on, because I think a lot of content creators, like myself included, really slept on how good she was going to be. So this is our chance to get her again. You know, I ended up going for it at the last possible second. Definitely worth pulling for if you have that kind of base of basic characters you want to build around. If you're looking for someone that's going to be really good in Coliseum, good everywhere. And now I've been seeing her in a couple like high level raid teams, so she's getting a ton of value for you. And then she has that effect of being able to target in on back row characters, which is fantastic. So another really good character there that you could pick up as well if you don't really care about Arena. So now let's actually go into the other events here. Something here, the freebies are usually pretty good in these. We've kind of got an idea of what to expect. Usually the evolution stones are pretty typical. These other things are pretty typical, but there's a couple things that they're focusing on in this one that I just want to highlight. One being these attack on kill accessories. So you got one accessory that gives attack on kill, and then the vampire shield at the end that gives you attack on kill in shield form. It's kind of an interesting thing that they're just trying to do there. Then we get this skin that actually looks kind of dope for male or female knight, depending on who you picked. Evo stones, like I was mentioning, and then a renewed emphasis on option change stones. And we're going to see that in the event missions too here in a second. Definitely worth picking up. These are the best places to get these, in my opinion, because there's really no good evaluation in game for option change stones. So events are the only way to really farm these. Definitely take advantage there. And then at the end, we get 40 hero crystals, which is totally worth going for. And then at the very end, you get 10 mileage tickets. So if you don't have these characters leveled up all the way, definitely take advantage of the evolution stones. If not, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that's worth getting here that I think is, you know, and you're going to be playing the game and spending stamina anyway, so you're going to get a ton of these things without changing anything. But if you guys have been saving stamina for this is probably a pretty good event to have done so, or event rewards. So the stamina ones are pretty typical, nothing too crazy here. We're going to be spending stamina anyway. If you don't have Beach Sohi farmed, it's kind of nice to get the free evolution stones. A couple more Mirror Rift tokens. I hope they end up doing this more often where we're getting more of these, because we'll see here in the summoning you get 1500. But for the stamina ones, these are actually really not too crazy rewards for spending all that stamina, but a lot of this you're probably just going to do free to play anyway, even if you aren't really refreshing too much. I usually recommend 2 refreshes, and I've been doing, on a video from Harmonia, I've been doing 3 refreshes ever since I saw that video to get more progression. But I'm in a unique scenario where I have a ton of characters, and progression matters to me more than saving enough gems to be able to optimize for pulling. So that's why I do triple refresh versus only a 2 refresh, which I used to do. Probably going to get a ton of stamina if you're doing anywhere close to the amount of refreshes that I'm doing. So now let's actually talk about the summoning ones, which I think these are great. These are noticeably better than what I remember last time they've done these. 1500 of these Mirror of tokens is fantastic, and then another 1500 here too. And it also makes sense because the character is a shield character, and what the best shield for her is going to be the one you get out of the Mirror Rift. So if you come here to the store, if you go to pull for her, you can get essentially a free Captain Mirror shield just for pulling, which I think is great. It's going to save you a ton of stamina to do that, ton of time there, and it actually works for the character you're ideally pulling for in Arena, or you could be pulling for Sohi and then you just happen to get a shield there. The other stuff is probably not worth going for because you can get it for free. The shield is usually the best thing to pull for in these things anyway. For not many people use the Martyr Mirror necklace. Almost no one has really used this to my knowledge. If anyone has a use for this, I'm sure there's niche usage for this, but for the most part, this is really not something people use. And then this stuff here, the element specific things for accessories, all can just be pulled through actually doing it. And then the option change stone is an obvious hard pass. Do not buy that ever, because you could just double for the price of 2 of these. You could just buy one. So I've always thought this was the dumbest thing ever. Even if this was 500, I probably wouldn't buy it. Because it's just a chance to change something. If it was a guarantee to slightly increase your stats or something, then these option change stones I think would be fairly priced. But I'm just not a fan of the pricing of these. I think these summon rewards are actually pretty good. If you're going to be pulling for one of these characters, this is luckily a good time to pull for characters. There's 2 really good characters and a third one in Future Knight that is also fantastic too. So don't sleep on her as well. Idol Eva is great if you already have these characters, but you're already focused on basic characters. You can really round out your roster with her. So a lot of good characters to pull for and pretty good summon rewards here as well. And then the equipment ones are all based on option change and option lock stones, which I think is nice. Pulling for equipment is usually not ideal, and 5 option change stones after 20 and then another 5 after 60 is not going to sell me on actually doing this. Sure, if you're going to be pulling for weapons, you'll be able to get these guys with you, but this is not going to push me over the edge to like, okay, I should probably summon for these weapons. I usually advise against pulling for weapons, but you know, you'll at least get some option change stones if you whiff. this time as a consolation prize. So lastly, when it comes to the new patch, they added more stages of the tower here, so we'll be able to do that. It's actually been pretty fun. The story, I've been able to kind of binge chapter 12 and chapter 13 recently. It's nice to just be able to play the game. Usually it's me just trying to fit it in as I'm at work or something like that, doing like Camazone and autoing Coliseum and stuff. So it's nice to just actually just chill out, play the story. Story's actually really good, even though it's really dark. I'm still enjoying it, and it's the mystery of, I don't want to spoil anything, but the mystery that they're kind of unfolding has been very interesting. So I look forward to finishing out this chapter here soon. Also, when it comes to characters, I said I would kind of talk about what I'm doing with my account, but recently I went really heavily on fire, because the fire teams are actually pretty decent when it comes to the raid. This is the team I'm using now. I've been putting Pillvice in the training room, but I have her weapon max limit broken randomly. Like, so I had one hammer, and I just, through playing the game, I've never targeted her weapon ever. I've just randomly gotten so many of her weapons through the 300 magic metal shop, just buying them there, or through pulls. I'll just happen to get like a white box and actually get this weapon. So I had her weapon at 4 max limit break. So I had the hammer, and the fire team's actually pretty good. So I just said screw it, and I max limit broke it. Might as well close it out and get that 10% extra damage there. Tried her out in Arena. She's actually kind of fun. I think the thing that really sets fire teams over the top is going to be the combination of the new character, or the relatively new character here, and Vishuvac's buffs. Her passive is insane. So I'm really excited to try out the fire characters. It's cool that they've brought them into relevance with that. But overall, what do you guys think about the new patch? Are you guys going to be pulling for Arena? I think both of these characters in Arena and Beach Sohi are fantastic heroes to pull for. I know at the time people didn't really think Beach Sohi was going to be that great. I sure as hell didn't think she would be such a good character. So this is your time to pick her up. I wish I was more on it the last time, but I'm curious what you guys are going to be pulling for this patch. All right, guys, well, I'm going to end it here. And with that, guys, I'm out. Peace.